Board of Commissioners meeting to order and ask Commissioner Sims if he will lead us in invocation, please.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us to be here today. We ask that you would give us guidance, and as we go through with this meeting, we lift up those who may be suffering and going through some difficult times, and we just pray that you will be with them and comfort their families. Be with our first responders, our military, and be with them as those who are going abroad and serving abroad, and we just lift them up to you. Lead us and guide us in His holy name. Amen.
Amen. Ask Vice Chairman Powell if he will lead us in the pledge.
This flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, you have the agenda in front of you. Is there any discussion or adjustment needed? Move for approval. Have a motion for approval. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, formal comments. Mr. John C.
Morning.
Morning.
I spoke the last one about the EDC. I was looking for an answer. Didn't get that. It's been 2 Fridays. I thought Commissioner Jeffers, you said you'd send me something, but maybe we forgot, and I know you guys have things that you're busy on. The last meeting, we extensively covered the restoration from the ransom attack. It was good to find out that the lawyer did a good job for the county in protecting us from $450,000 worth of costs that would have been on the county that the insurance companies picked up. Would have been good to have that more fully disclosed during the meeting. Because that's what I've spoke about was kind of, are we being effective and efficient with our county government, and kind of where I stand in regards to any issues I have and comments. For the most part with the board. The other one was that we have an outstanding IT department of 8 individuals that did a good job. So on the EDC with the mega site, we haven't had a meeting since June. Again, the same comments I made the last time. There's a lot of questions that it'd be nice to have covered as to what's going on. There's an expectation that all this ramifications, shall we say, on China and the COVID, et cetera, was going to drive business back to the United States and to our doorstep. And there's 1,350 odd acres that we've sunk a fair amount of money in. And I'm just wondering, how are we doing on that? What interest has there been? What's our response has been to the interest for those that haven't? Why haven't they? What are we doing about it? What's occurred recently? And how is that element of the county performing? Even to the point of, are you guys applying the right amount of oversight on the EDC? Do they need something that they don't have? Is there stuff we as citizens ought to know with the investment level we would put into that site? So I'm just hitting that same nail harder. Good to know we've got a lawyer that did his job, and we've got an IT department that's doing theirs. Again, I'm back to concerns on our future as an economic element, and how healthy are we, and are we doing what we should today? Did we do yesterday what we should? Are we oversighting that department, doing reviews? I'll cut off my comments at that point, but I really like to see that that crucial element is at least touched on as a passing comment by somebody up here each meeting, it kind of would seem appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, discussion, adjustment, approval of our consent agenda.
Move for approval.
It's been properly moved. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Carries. New business, item number 2, adoption of the 2020 Eno Hall Regional Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. Ms. Oakley?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the hazard mitigation plan is a plan that's currently in place in the county that we update every 5 years. And we started working on this plan, or the update rather, to it last year. And it was a joint project or joint effort between Kayla and myself on the planning staff, and Doug with emergency management, who is here today also. And once we started the update, Kayla kind of took the lead with the project. I think she has a passion for hazard mitigation. So she's going to come up here and present to you and just kind of briefly go over the plan with you. Again, this is an existing plan, and we are required by law to update it every 5 years. So at this time, I'll have Kayla come up and present.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So this is a request by the Person County Planning Department and Emergency Management Department to approve the resolution to enact that should read 2020 Eno-Hog Regional Multi-Jurisdiction Hazard Mitigation Plan. Per the requirements of multiple federal acts, counties and cities are required to periodically adopt all hazard mitigation plans to remain eligible for federal funding in the event of a natural or man-made disaster. The Person County Departments of Planning and Zoning and Emergency Management began the process of creating an updated plan in 2019 with our planning consulting firm Wood, the city of Roxborough, and the counties and cities of the Eno-Hog region, which is Alamance, Durham, and Orange counties and their associated municipalities. Coordination between the above entities included creating attainable and measurable goals and objectives, updating data provided from the consulting firm, and attending public meetings. In May of 2020, we received the approval pending adoption letter from FEMA. This indicates that FEMA had approved the proposed plan and the county was cleared to adopt it. The new hazard mitigation plan addresses all the requirements needed for FEMA funding in the event of a disaster impacting the county. This plan provides a roadmap for goals and objectives that will strengthen the resilience of the county. And the plan addresses multiple hazards, and the goals and objectives cover a variety of impacts and departments. Examples of hazards that are included are floods, hurricanes, droughts, tornadoes, earthquakes, etc. So staff recommends the adoption so that we can, that the county can remain eligible for federal funding in the event of a natural or man-made disaster. And the recommended action is to approve or deny the adoption of the plan via the resolution provided. Thank you.
Questions?
So with the adoption of this, the other jurisdictions that were involved with this, we have to wait for all of those to be approved before this officially goes in effect, or is this our plan even though other jurisdictions may not approve it?
So once we adopt it, Doug's gonna answer that.
This will be our plan, but in order to, as recommendation from FEMA and the state, it will be regional. So will be regional to get regional money. So, kind of yes for both ends.
Okay. Well, I want to thank the planning department and emergency services for the hard work and to coordinating this with other jurisdictions, and a job well done. With that being said, Mr. Chairman, if there's no further questions, I move for adoption of the plan.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay. Motion carried. Item number 3, tax collector settlement. Mr. Russell Jones.
I'd like to present the 2019 tax collector settlement this morning. 2019 involves time from July 1, 2019 to June 30. You would normally have received your report early July. However, with the ransomware and other challenges, we have a number of 50%. Presentation upward. All right, the tax collector settlement is required by general statute. It's just a legal means of closing out 1 year and starting the next year. And again, this is the 1920 collection year. Share some numbers with you. So first of all, I'll break down the collection rate of everything that came into our office except for public service. We had a 98.5 collection rate on that. Public service, which is utilities, a little bit more than $6.1 million back there, and it always has been 100% collection rate on that. And then your motor vehicles, which is your DMV, DPS combined registration. I collected 2.7 million and a 99.83 collection rate there. One challenge we're seeing in the real and personal line at the very top is what we call gap bills. I talked to y'all about this before, where DMV will have a gap in registration, which creates another little small bill for us to collect. We had 1,700 of those this past year. But 1,700 of those only gave us $35,000. The collection rate on that ended being 74%. So little tiny bills are very difficult to collect. But we're able to keep doing this as good as we can on those. Another thing to point out is that we left $363,000 uncollected for 2019. But we'll collect about 57% of that in the next 12 months. Already to date, we've collected 15% of that. So that number is again 363, actually 365. So you combine all three of those categories together, your motor vehicle, your public utilities, and your real and personal, got a combined rate of 98.91. I've had a personal goal since I started with the county to have a 99% collection rate. And I really thought this year was a good year. We came in January when the bills first came delinquent, a very strong collection rate. We have a great group of citizens to work with. Most of them paid without any persuasion, no delinquent notice required, to over 90% from day one. Great staff, everybody working together. And then COVID, and ransomware. Right at the time we closed the office for a few days, and I think we entered from May 29th, it was all kinds of challenges. So we did make 99, which is, most counties don't make 99. So the next thing I did was I actually took out a couple of things just to show you what we could not touch. So levy adjusted, what a lot of my peers will talk about in the collection rates. So levy adjusted, you throw out your bankruptcy. And you throw out anything on the fuel that did not pay. So when we do that, we come up with 98.99. Still couldn't make the 99. I tried. I was not going to budget numbers. We did make 99. But not adjusting the levy and looking forward, we made 99 on July 7th. So that's about two. Other comparables, stormwater collection rate was 97.33, city collection rate 98.71, and fire collection rate at 98.94. So we almost did. Let's look at the last 5 years and where we ended up. You'll see that that category, the real personal property, is higher than it's been in the last 5 years. Public service, like I said before, 100% all the way across. Motor vehicles down a little bit. Motor vehicles did a weird twist this year. Most of you are probably aware that the state allows people to wait 5 months to be used. That didn't really affect the collection rate on that, but it did bring total revenues down. And we anticipate seeing a spike in revenues in August for people who did not renew in March. Haven't seen that yet, but of course the month is not over. So we may see some extra revenues coming to make up for it. There's this month there. To add everything together, 98.9 was the highest collection rate we've had in the last 5 years. And I believe the highest we've ever had. So we're definitely
Congratulations.
getting there. I did not make my 99 like I wanted. The things we do to get that collection rate, of course, delinquent notices. We do that as soon as the January 5th deadline rolls around. And we send our second batch in May. Advertising in the newspaper early in March, the earlier you do it, the better. And so many people will call and bills go out and want to know. Of course, the last update, paper goes in the paper. So the advertising is still a very strong tool to get the collection rate up. Garnishments, which would take 10% of people's gross wages, we had actually got those ready to go early this year, got it ready on March 3rd. And then COVID hit, so we trying to work with taxpayers, delayed those for 6 weeks. So that hurt our collection rate there. We were trying to be courteous, trying to understand what was going to happen with everybody's job and stuff. We did a lot of phone calls and asked people to make a payment rather than taking their wages. That did work. So silence went out late April, early May. Bank attachment the same thing, so bank attachment takes all available funds. We continue to use sheets, which you can see cash, where people have unclaimed money. Debt set off, payment arrangements is very strong this year. And then foreclosure. Foreclosure is something nobody likes to hear, but a lot of times, especially on air property, for clients passed away many generations ago and families forgotten about the property, it becomes necessary. On our garnishes, we did 926 in one big batch, 250 bank attachments. And then foreclosures, we actually brought in just under $100,000 foreclosures. That doesn't mean we sold anything, it just means that we turn over the attorney because of that. And we talk about just the current collection rate. We don't need to forget about everything else we do. Prepayments is high this year because we are still collecting prepayments. We haven't free bills yet for 2020. $153,000. All together, by the time you add everything came through our door, city taxes, stormwater fees, the listing, it's a little over $37 million. BTS added, the motor vehicles added about 3.3 grand, a total of $40 million in property taxes. After 11 years, the right to collect taxes kind of goes down. There's statute of limitations. And you really want to try to keep this number low. So if we take where we were in 2009, and 11 years later, we're writing off $20,000. Starting off with a levy of $27 million. We collected 99.9%. Did not collect 7/100 of 1%. Most of that was real estate, 2,000 vehicles, about 6,000 vehicles, and 2,000 others. So that's just write-off for years of stuff we just could not collect. A lot of that property disappeared. It's low-dollar property. It's not really worth closing on. Just a little bit of everything, but that is a very low number. Very proud to have such a low number there. Again, I said that we talked about foreclosures. Looked at how many people have passed away and how many tax bills associated with that. But just for 2019, we got 224 bills, real estate bills owned by deceased owners. That amounts to $51,000 in taxes. That's just for the 19 only. If I look at all the years owed by those deceased owners, it's over $200,000, $227,000. If we want to go to the collection rate over 99%, we really have to focus on those deceased properties and have to fix them. That actually has gone down this past year. It was down about 25,000. We added one more year to that number, so we did work on that quite a bit this year. The 2021 revaluations, another update I want to give you, we were slightly behind on that because of ransomware. We're going to get caught up pretty quick. The gap billing is definitely giving us a headache. 1,700 bills at $35,000. If you collect them and collection rate at 74%, that's nothing to shake a stick at, of course. But and I'm afraid that number will go up this year because of the about a month delay for registering the cars and being allowed to do that. The cyber event definitely affected our collection rate. We got our system down on May 29th. And then we're able to get it back up on June 18th, I believe. We had 3.5 months payments to be in, because we couldn't enter anything in the month of June. We had 5,320 payments down, the amount of $1.7 million. $250,000 was cash. We got it all in. Everything was accounted for. We had one report that we sent to our credit card and we gave us final balance. We were able to get every transaction, not just the final, just every transaction. And of course, tax bills still haven't gone out yet. We started with 5,186 appraisal changes that have been done since February 7th, that had to be done before we send out bills. And I was hoping to been down below 405, we have 414 more changes. So I do think tax bills will go up early September. I get a dozen phone calls every day, where's my bill? We're anxious about doing that. I think we'll come back. Any comments, questions?
I just want to say that you've done an outstanding job, you and your staff. I think the numbers show your dedication, performance, and sometimes that goes unnoticed, but I do want to thank you and your staff for your hard work over the past years to get up to this point.
Yeah. I want to point something out. A lot of people in here probably don't know is that on the vehicle end of it, at one time, we were collecting those taxes separate. And it took the North Carolina Association of Counties to get legislation passed that vehicle tax is included. Now, when you renew your license, it's made a tremendous difference in the collection rate on that vehicle part. That's why you saw one of them that was, I think you hit 100% somewhere in here or close to it. And that's one of the reasons for it, because of the method they're using to collect it. It helped him and the county and us, all of us, out a tremendous amount doing it that way, because people have to pay it now before they can renew the registration. I just want to point that out, but that's why in the past, that was a hard thing to collect sometimes, because people sold cars, they swapped cars, they did different things with vehicles, and it got where it was very, very hard for the county to keep up with it. And sometimes when you caught it, it would be hard to prove that they either owed it or didn't owe it. So I just wanted to point that out. That's helped a lot. That was one thing that the Association of Counties, among other things that they've done, but some of their other things that they've done for us collecting stuff, that's made a big difference.
Just to put the number for the comments. Back when they started the concept of combining registration and taxes together, it was in 2005. It took them 8 years to get that program to work. But we had 42,000 vehicles as opposed to 30,000 pieces of real estate. Motor vehicles amount to 10% of revenues, and that was taking about 90% of the work. So yes, that program definitely worked. And the 99.83% collection rate on motor vehicles is due to why it's not 100%. It's because some people write a bad check, and there's a time for a limited registration plate on new purchase where you get 90 days to pay. So that's the reason it's not 100%. But that is a great change for Person County, for the state of North Carolina. But that definitely worked. 8 years to get it done, but it's worth it.
Thank you, Russell.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Jones, I too would like to thank you for your hard work in this and your persistence and dedication to reach your personal goal, which benefits Person County. And along that line, it may take some persistent prodding, but the people of Person County apparently are responding and are paying their taxes, and we have to commend them for that. But again, I trust that you'll get to your goal, and maybe even better.
I'm not sure it's attainable, but
Well,
trust there.
Yeah, but again, your persistence there is important, and without constant reminders, I don't think the taxpayers would respond in that percentage. But again, thank you for all you do, because that's how we run our county. Thank you.
Please share our sentiments with your staff too, Russell. Thank you, and then.
Yeah, I have a great staff. It starts off with the appraisal staff. If I can't get a reasonable bill in someone's hand that we can justify collected. And all them stepped up and COVID, the ransomware, everything that we're challenged with this year. We're really all popular from 899.
I hear a motion to accept Russell's report.
So moved.
It's been properly moved. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
One more item for you is the order to collect taxes. So this gives me the power to do what I did last year and hopefully do it just a little bit better and have that 99%. That's gonna be a tough environment with the unemployment that we're facing because of restrictions. So next year may even be worse than this year as far as collecting money, but I would like to order me to do it.
Your motion?
Motion moved.
Been properly moved. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Russell. Chairman's report. At my fire chiefs meeting, which our new chief marshal, our new fire marshal attended. And I think soon or sometime, the Chiefs Committee, and particularly the Forestry Department, has asked that we look at some type of illegal burning ordinance. And I think the fire marshal will be getting with the manager, if he hadn't already. I think he has some already kind of written up. And so you may be seeing that come forward. The issue is the trash burning and some of the illegal burning. I think statutorily, the fire marshal is the only one who can possibly cite people for that type of illegal burning. Also, I wanted us to look and see what we have on the books. And if we don't, a possible dumping ordinance, hearing from a lot of our local farmers and they're being dumped on their property. And I don't know if we have anything that's and how it's enforced, and if not, maybe what some other neighboring counties are doing that we might can look at. And then also wanted to have the manager to reach out to Republic Services to see if their Saturday hours are, they're closed, I think currently now, if that is temporary or
It
something
is.
they plan to continue.
I will double check on that. They had adjusted their hours due to the COVID, and so I'll ask them whether or not, or when that'll transition back.
Thank you. That's all I have. Manager's report.
I wanted to mention for the EDC, I did pull the bylaws for the EDC, and they are required to meet every 3 months. So they are in compliance with their bylaws. Sherry typically sends out a weekly email update that we can try to circulate. We've talked about trying to put some on her website to let folks know what's been going on, so we will do that as well. And the chair of that group, so Sherry actually works with a board. The chair, Mr. Philip Allen, has decided not to hold a meeting unless there is official business to conduct. And so they had foregone their last meeting and I think the upcoming meeting because there was no actual official business to conduct, but that doesn't mean that staff is not working. So we will try to find ways to inform the public of what is going on in economic development regularly. I'll check on the Republic Services hours, and right now, if there's illegal dumping happening, the sheriff's office does enforce that. So you can always report that to the sheriff, but I will look into a separate ordinance specifically on the dumping if that's the interest of the board. That's all I had.
Commissioner Sims.
I'd just like to mention what, piggybacking what Heidi said. I served on the Economic Development Commission for many years. And sometimes we can't say things because of confidentiality. There may be things in the works and the company or who is looking at possibly moving out here stresses confidentiality, that we don't share that to the public. And so I just want to say that the EDC may be working on things, but we just can't make it public at this time. And because you can lose a potential employer who's looking to come out here if you release that information when they've asked you not to. It basically is about trust. You know, they got to trust us. So just want to mention that with the EDC. The The other thing, talking about the fire department and the fire marshal, one of the things that at Timberlake Volunteer Fire Department was at one of their board meetings is the airport and the fire safety at the airport. I guess the question would be is who responds to that emergency if there's a fire out there and you have to use certain chemicals on some of the jet fuel. And so how is that, going to be addressed? And I know that Timberlake's the closest one to the airport. So just something to look at. I'm sure the fire marshal will look at that too as we go forward, but that's just one of the
I
concerns.
served on their strategic planning committee at Timberlake, and that came up as a discussion. And my understanding at that time, they were going to approach the airport, or at one time, they actually had keys to get through some of the gates and things to respond. And as far as the foam and all that, I don't know how they work that out. but-
That's true, but there's a life expectancy on the phone. And the other thing with that, you're right, it's locked up. And again, it deals with FAA and those regulations they have. But being able to, we're starting to get more jets and more activity out there at the airport. If we have an emergency, someone's gonna need to get there pretty quick to deal with that fire or whatever it may be. So just something to think about.
Mr. Clayton?
I don't think I have anything. I think he covered it very well on economic development.
Commissioner Breer? Vice Chairman Powell?
Maybe not so much a report, but a question. We are hearing a lot about EDC and reporting on what they're doing. That's been well explained here this morning, and I do know of a case when I was actually a member on that board where confidentiality was breached and headquarters for that particular business or industry here in Person County pulled the plug on a plan that they were developing. So that's a real situation. But I spoke with Manager York maybe last week and as well as the clerk last week, just to comment that there is a report that goes out to their board from the director. What did you say?
I think she does a weekly report,
Weekly. Could that not be posted on our website as well as the EDC website?
and that's what we're gonna start doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
we need to work on that, at least publicize what we can. And if it's confidentiality is an issue, we need to abide by that. And I think our county basically does that very well, but that's an important point of consideration here that when these companies are looking at Person County, they do not want that known worldwide in today's world, and we have to respect that. So they're doing a good job, but it's sort of hard, especially in the COVID time, along with again the confidentiality issue. So let's do the best we can. Whatever is available there to share with the public, let's do it. Thank you.
Okay, no other commissioner has anything else? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Properly moved, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.